broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the universe. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, the show where metaphysics, holistic living, motivation, and inspiration come together to empower your mind, body, and soul. We will dive deep into the realms of metaphysical wisdom, exploring the fascinating connections between mind and matter. Get ready to ignite your inner spark and embrace a journey of self-discovery. So, sit back,
what's up, everybody?
relax,
Iggy
and
here.
enjoy the ride.
So I'm going to light a candle here real quick. So we're going to light this candle and open up the energy and open up the space for ceremony and to bring in the ancestors to help us and guide us on this conversation, this talk that we're going to be doing. So we're going to be enjoying this and just being where we need to be. Anyways, I raise this candle just thinking of my mom, my dad, my sister, and my nephew, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, all those who have come before me, honoring them and thanking them for their guidance as we move through this interesting energy. Oh. I'm a little stopped up today. Just a little bit. Let that burn during the show. Clearing, cleansing, removing, resetting that energy. This is my little personal chime. So this one's my sister's. After she passed away, it was gifted to me, so I had to restring it. I love it. All right, guys. There's a lot happening in the world today, like every day. And there's just a lot of stuff happening in the world where, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. It's a whole bag of tricks, like they say, right? So depending what side of the field you're on, you will align with that energy. And so here we are, being challenged. We're being challenged to see the world and look at the world in ways that we probably never have. Ways that, we didn't think we had to. But regardless, like I said, regardless where you sit, where you're at, spiritually, physically, emotionally, I just want to pray for everybody. Because I think sometimes we forget that, regardless, we're human beings. We're human, and I want to believe that we're trying to do the best we can with the tools and the things that we have in our arsenal to navigate. I'm not here to judge anybody or anyone's belief systems or ideologies. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's why I do my show, because sometimes we just have to listen to what people are saying to learn what's going on. And, sometimes our judgment gets cloudy, and sometimes we get in the way of ourselves and not listen and believe that things are a certain way. But anyways, I want to pray. And for those of you who don't know, I am connected to spirit, like most of you are, in many different ways. I'm connected to Christ energy, actually Jesus Christ. I'm just be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was raised Catholic, and I was baptized, and and I'm a Christian. Christian shaman. You don't see too many of those anymore, but that's, where I'm at. I believe in God. I believe in the Great Spirit. We call him Great Spirit. I believe in the animal totems, the guides. Those are our angels. Those are, interpretation. When you look at it, we all live our lives how we need to live it and how we feel we should live it. And sometimes the language gets misconstrued and things get in a certain way. And that's what happens. There's a lot of confusion in the world. And, sometimes our silence isn't that we're silent and that we're not conforming. It's just sometimes we are processing and trying to figure out and see what's going on. For some people, everything has to be quick and immediately. And for some people, they really have to digest and ingest, what they're seeing, what's in front of them. And so the work I do, the shamanic work I do, is being connected to earth energy, Mother Earth energy, Sky Father energy. It's not just one aspect. It's a worldly, universal energy, a galactic energy, as much as it is an earthly energy. Our existence is much more greater and bigger than just this big blue ball that we sit on. We are from millions and millions of light years away.
Here's what I found.
We're from places that we can't even fathom. When water travels through space and those droplets are just, in cohesive form, we've come from all over the world. Our water that is on this planet is older than the sun. And those of you who like to fact check me, because, that's what we do anymore. We don't trust our elders like we used to. My nephews and my nieces, my brothers and my sisters, we have to put faith in the things that come out of the mouths of some people sometimes, who we trust and believe in. Do we always get it right? No. Sometimes we say it in a way that you not understand. But you know what? The water, we are water, as much as we are flesh. And the water that circulates through us is a divine water. It's divine. You can go without food for a long period of time, but you can't go without water very long. You can go on a hunger strike, but you can't go on a third strike and expect to think you're going to live very long. Why? Because the minerals, the components that water brings to our body is essential for cleansing and purification and moving the things that no longer serve us, the toxins out of our body. It helps all the mechanisms grow, all the mechanisms move. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just here to remind you about things who we are. Sometimes we forget that we are a blessed being, that we are creatures from a heavenly source. A heavenly source. We're from a heavenly source, an architect that was creating and manifesting and experiencing life through us and with us. Now, I know most of you know me and some of you don't know me. Some of you will watch the show, but I've been busy. I've been in my own little world, and I've reflected on friendships and relationships with people that would serve me or don't serve me. And, I had to make some really serious decisions about things. It wasn't easy. But sometimes when you think about it, then you wonder why you were feeling a certain way or not be able to express yourself in a certain way because, it's the company you keep. And so my company to keep was a big, crucial change in my life. I've made some real serious changes, and I've had to let some friends go and bring in some new friends. Not because I don't love them, not because I don't care about them. It's because I'm not in alignment with some of the belief systems that they have about how they see the world and how they travel the world. And and a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us just go and jump on and that's it. And wherever we land, we land. Like I can't do that. I have maybe 20, 30 good years in my life, and I have to enjoy and I have to meticulously plan. as I prepare, my life and the next cycle, the next evolution of myself, who and what I want to be. And so I've been busy writing books. So most of you know I wrote my drum circle book, Drum Circle Made Easy, a guide for freestyle drumming and self-expression. So this book, I'll share with you. You can find my books on Amazon. And it's good to be here. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It is good to be here. This book, I wrote this because for years, as a facilitator since 2000, I've been saying I'm going to write a book, and I never did. And finally, I had the courage, and I took on the task because I was afraid to write. I felt like I could talk pretty good, but I never was able to express myself in a certain way. So I got help, and I asked for help. And people who I thought were going to help me didn't help me. And people who I surprisingly wasn't expecting anything, they helped me. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. The universe will surprise you. The universe will throw things at you and surprise you. So this book is for beginners. This is for people who want to know what it's like to navigate a drum circle. What to expect and what to feel and what's going on in there. And there's etiquette in this book too about how to have drum etiquette. Now, sometimes we follow 100%, sometimes we don't. That's just life. There's just we never, it's like, when you read the good book, right? The Bible. How many of you actually follow it? Those of you who follow it. Some of you do, some of you don't. Some of you choose and pick the pieces and parts. And this book's kind of like that too. People choose and pick and piece of parts that they want. But I highly recommend this book, and it's going to be a good book to read. Next week I'll be at Casa Cacao. I'll be there. And so I'm here, and then I'm going to be talking about both these books. This is my shaman book. For those of you who realize, this is my shaman book. And I'm pretty excited about this book because this is a true beginner's guide to shamanism. So if you want to just know what you're going to get yourself into and what you expect to see, this book is crucial for this. This is a very good book. I love this book, and this book is amazing. And so for those of you who have never dabbed into shamanism or you're curious about shamanism, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in here, about shamanism, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So it talks a little bit about everything. I'll give you kind of it talks about the foundations of shamanism. We talk about the practical shamanism, healing practice of shamanism, the cultural content of shamanism, the integrity of shamanism, advanced shamanism practices. And I'm already on the second book, believe it or not. I'm on the second book which gets more in detail about my life and gets more in detail about the work how we do the work and how we approach the work. This is just kind of like a dive into the pool, get your foot wet. But there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of information. And this book is a good beginner's guide. So, those of you who have purchased my book, and I really appreciate it, I thank you very much for purchasing my book. And I would be grateful if you give me reviews on the book if you read it, if you think that these books have helped you or they have information, that would be crucially invaluable for me, because that's how this book keeps growing and it's promoted around the world. So these books, it took me, this is a book in progress for years that I've been working on. And, I had a competition, and then for the cover, I joined a group to learn how to write books. I just decided that after almost dying, a few years ago from that nasty thing that came around, because if we say it on the air, somehow the algorithm picks it up and blocks you. I already had one show taken off because I mentioned the word. It's just kind of screwy how that is. But anyhow, I sat there and I thought, I didn't really have any aha moments or anything that just popped out at me. But what did happen with me is that I had time to think that, it wasn't my time to die. Even though I felt like I was dying, it wasn't my time. It wasn't my time to go. But, the cool part about it was I thought about these books and these things about what I wanted to do. And I know I've told people for years, And I've had people try to help me write books for years, and it just never panned out. And then finally, I just decided to do it. I have like a form of dyslexia that sometimes I probably miss some things in this book, where you write something and then you think you wrote it and then it's not there. Well, that's kind of what I have. I don't think it's dyslexia. It has another name, but I don't remember. I have to look it up. But anyhow, that's one of those just things in my mind, how my mind processes. So I'm going to be, I believe this on the 19th. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be, checking out. Then at the end of the month, I'll be drumming the drum circle down in, Hillsboro. Naturally by Nature. That's my friend Kelly's place. I'll be there teaching some drumming too, so hopefully you guys can make it. Then, of course, I do my rounds here in Columbus. So, according to what's going on in this world, this is a good book to read. It's, kind of bring you to center. It kind of brings you to understanding and how maybe to relax your body, how to relax your mind, how to relax your spirit, and how to put you in a better frame of mind in meditation. So, the biggest thing is to just remember that you're breathing. The biggest thing, sometimes we forget that we breathe, and sometimes we forget to breathe. I don't know how we forget to breathe, but, our breath starts to, change a little bit. So just take a deep breath in the nose, So when we're inhaling through the nose, we're going to do a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and we release and let go. It makes us feel a lot better, For those of you who want to see a lot of breathing techniques, my earlier videos, if you go back to Iggy Garcia Live on YouTube, at the beginning, like the very first videos that I've ever made, there's a whole series of breathing techniques on there, so you can look at it. So I'm here really to promote my business today a little bit, because I haven't really done that. A lot of you know my business, iggygarcia.com. You can check out my website. You can see all the podcasts that I've done, all the, the articles I've written and stuff, and all the associations that I'm part of, and the things I've created or helped create, and all the events that I do, through Sweat Lodge and drumming and, peace marches and walks and stuff. So that's the biggest thing, that I'm just here to just share, a little piece of part of myself, because sometimes I forget to do that. Sometimes self-promotion is kind of one of those things that people are like, well, should I really talk about myself? Well, the whole point of being a business is to share, right? McDonald's advertises, all these businesses advertise, and they pound it in your face, right? To the point where you don't even notice anymore. It just psychologically hits you in the head, in the back here. Well, I'm here to expand your pineal gland, and expand your emotions, your creations, and open you up to invite positive, good energies into your life. Sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's easy. But the thing is, when you're trying to find new things to do in your life, we talk a good talk sometimes. And we say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I've been wanting to do that. That's on my bucket list. I saw a meme the other day, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And it said, somebody your age is already dead. I was like, the fudge? I was like, someone my age is already dead. And boy, that hit me. That hit me because, that's a valid statement. That's a true statement. That we take life for granted sometimes. That we sit here and we think we have all the time in the world. And honestly, quite frankly, we do not. No minute, no second, no day, no nothing is guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is that if you're still breathing, you're good. You're good. And the thing is, we have to remember that. We have to remember that. So vital, so important. Something so simple and so vital, we totally forget. We just totally forget about that. So hopefully you're understanding what I'm trying to share with you is that, there's been wars and there's been all kinds of crazy things that have happened since man started walking. Since the first ancestor got on 2 legs and started walking. Not that they didn't do it before, but the mind started to expand. The brain started to grow. Ideas started to sprout. And then, over time, the evolution of man, that creation, it starts to like get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more powerful and powerful. And then as we grow, we encounter other things, right? We encounter animals. We encounter other homonyms, other humans, right? Other types of humans, other type of existence. And then they're either friends or foe. If not, then what do? We create and we destroy sometimes as humans things that we don't understand, and we put it away. So none of this is going to change. None of this stuff is ever going to change. Not because we don't want it to change. It's just because we're in this cycle, this nasty cycle of living inside these houses, being dependent on the system, being dependent on, how it was created, how it's all manifested for us. We're just plugged in. We're plug and play. They put us in, we respond or react. One of the two happens. Either we do better or we don't. But most of us struggle because you know what? We know it's not natural. It's not natural to feel these things. It's not natural to be in these situations. But this is what happened. This is where other people, they weren't necessarily smarter. They were just idealists. They had ideas. How do I landlock this person or that person or these things into a situation where I can benefit from? We used to trade shells and rocks and stuff, and gems and precious, stuff. But now, our monetary system is different, right? To the point where, it's cotton, paper, and linen, guys. And, that's part of a tree, part of a plant. The only thing that's different is the things that are written on it. The ink that's printed on it is the only thing that separates this piece of paper from real money, monetary funds. It's the association and the energy that we give something. And the energy what we resist persists. I saw somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where, like if we have a anti-war rally, then we're just giving more stuff to war. We're just embedding it. If we have a peace rally, then we're giving more peace. Is that true or not true? I don't know. This is what scientists have said, that, this is what happens when we, resist, it persists. Kind of makes sense to me, So I try to be on the side of like understanding and communicating and, open dialogue. And it doesn't mean I have to necessarily agree or side one way or another. It just means that I have to like look at it, Okay, I can see why this person's upset. I can see why this person's frustrated. Doesn't mean you have to be upset, frustrated. Human nature is wild. Because every individual on this planet, every single human being is their unique Mother Earth or their unique self. And they have to, at some level, give away pieces and parts of themselves in order to integrate and to be part of a system that doesn't necessarily function for them. So you're out here in the world. I'm out here in the world, and things happen to us. For some people, it's okay. Oh, that's no problem. But for you, it's like, man, this is difficult. Why? Because, they don't take an account. And we don't usually take an account for everybody to feel a certain way. But anyways, I'm just watching and observing. And sometimes you learn more from watching and observing and be able to say, hey, you know what? You can have a dialogue with somebody on this side, a dialogue on that buddy on that side, a dialogue with somebody up there and someone down there. And then you can learn a lot about yourself within those communicative situations. If I was just one-sided, one way, I'll never learn. My dad taught me a long time ago, being a bartender isn't, you serve drinks to everybody. You serve drinks to everybody and make sure that they're happy and they're content. And, their money is green and it buys money and it buys a drink and, dollars for drink. I found it really fascinating. My dad was like, he was built for that kind of business. I mean, he was like totally in alignment with that. He was able to be all aspects of what that would look like. So let me see if I got that here on hand. So my dad, I got this. Some of you have seen me post this before. It's about being a restaurateur. It's a wonderful life if you can take it. A restaurateur must be a diplomat. He must have facilities to entertain prime ministers, princes of industry, pickpockets, gamblers, bookmakers, pirates, philanthropists, Pelosi's, and prudes. He must be on both sides of the political fence and be able to jump the fence. He should be or have been a footballer, a golfer, a bowler, a tennis player, a cricketer, dart player, sailor, a pigeon fancier, motor racer, a linguist, as well as have good knowledge of others' sports involving dice, cards, horse racing, billiards. He must be qualified wrestler, weight lifter, sprinter, peacemaker. These are not useful, as he sometimes has to settle arguments in squabbles. He must always look immaculate when drinking with the ladies and gentlemen mentioned in this first paragraph, as well as the bankers, swankers, theatricals, commercial travelers, company representatives, even those he has just made peace between, of the two, 4, 6, or more, and furthermore, the patrons. To be successful, he must keep the bar full, the house full, the storeroom full, the wine cellar full, the customers full, and not get full of himself. He must have staff who are clean, honest, quick workers, quick thinkers, non-drinkers, mathematicians, technicians, all the times on the boss side, the customer side, and stay on the outside of the bar. In summary, he must be outside, inside, offside, glorified, sanctified, crucified, stupefied, cross-eyed, and if he's not strongly the silent type, then there's always it. That's it. So, that was really, I saw this at Chef Annette's restaurant when I was like 15, when I went to eat there. And this lady, I loved it, This is way before cell phones and stuff. So I couldn't take a picture of it. And, she came to the restaurant and she gave me that. And I framed that and I have that. And, I applied this principle, and I'm going to put it in my next book because it applies to a lot of different things. And it's an unknown author. But, for a lot of people don't know, I grew up in a bar. I grew up in a restaurant. And, on all these things I just read to you, almost everything there is a true statement. It's like, it's reality. You have to be like everything. You can't just, if you were an ass and you just threw everybody out because you didn't like them, you wouldn't have a business very long. And, I find that, and I'm looking at this the other day, I'm thinking, so, my dad had to put up with a lot of stuff. We had to put up with a lot of stuff. But you know what? It was only temporary. And that's the thing about it. It wasn't like permanent. It wasn't like, it's just temporary. It's a temporary thing. I was just like really fascinated by all that, about this story, about, what a restaurateur is. But anyways, I find it really fascinating that, sometimes we're not taught these skills. These skills you can't just teach somebody. This is something that has to come by experience and being exposed to it. When I was a kid, I didn't really, the restaurant was kind of like any kid would I don't want to be here all day long. But I'd say it was one of the best educations I ever had. It was one of the best educations, that learning how to deal with all kinds of people, how to deal and how to address, how to feel, how to navigate, how to love, how to care, I don't think my dad ever met anybody he didn't like other than the people who were super rude, and then he had to throw them out. the majority of people would come to the restaurant. They were politicians. You know, they were gay, lesbian. It didn't matter. My dad didn't care. Didn't matter. There are people who are hungry and want to eat, and that's it. They want to drink and party, have a good time. Because that's what life. That's what my dad sold. My dad sold living. He sold living. He sold, you've worked hard all day. You deserve a margarita. You worked hard all day. We're going to sell you chile relleno. You worked hard all day. Kick back your feet and have some chips and guacamole. You worked really hard. So enjoy your life for at least an hour or two here at Garcia's. That was my dad. He was good at it. He was super good at it. He was amazing to watch sometimes. I'm like, man, I don't know how you do it, Dad. I don't have the patience. Now, I owned restaurants for years, too. My style was a little bit different, a little bit more, it was laid back but different. But my dad was like, he loved the show. Like, it was like, for him, every day was just an amazing thing. It was beautiful. I loved it. But anyhow, that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just a little bit about what's going on in my life, just enjoying. So hopefully you guys are able to, just enjoy and just do what you have to do. All right, guys. Well, have a good day. Have a good night. And I will talk to you soon. I appreciate you guys. Take care.